Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire.
Welcome back to Wind Tunnel TV. Tonight, it's the RGR Racing League, the Xfinity Series, the Winston Xfinity Series here at Martinsville. Gonna be a good one, gonna be a tough one out there. The paperclip showing its teeth out here tonight. So guys are gonna have to be patient and perhaps avoid calamity. I'm Dean Doucette. Jared Carr joins me. Jared, I mean, anytime you can say the word calamity, it's a dangerous night.
Absolutely. I mean, this is the smallest track we're going to go to all year, Dean. And we got 30 drivers out here tonight. It's going to be a tough track. These guys are going to have to be patient. But at the same time, they're going to have to be aggressive because it's such a small track. You start out a half a lap down if you're dead last starting out. So these guys are going to have to be aggressive making their way through the field, but they got to be patient at the same time.
Well, you know, let's talk on that a minute here. You come out here, you think, okay, there's probably going to be some carnage. I'm going to start at the back. I'm just going to ride around. I'm going to wait for the cautions. And it's later on, I'll try some strategy to boost myself up to the front. I mean, you're right. You're only, 7 seconds from being lapped when you start, Jared?
Exactly right. And that really puts you on the onus to get through the field as quickly as you can because it just increases that pressure. You don't want to go a lap down because the leaders start working on you. They're going to work on other people, and then all of a sudden you're going to be fighting all night to stay on the lead lap or fight for that lucky dog position all night long. And you might get some cautions, and you might not get cautions. I mean, I've seen some races go green flag here in the past. So, I mean, there is a lot of variables that can happen at Martinsville.
There is, and the track temp is one of them. 105, not too bad. I mean, a little warm out there, so that won't help anybody who's got loose condition at all out there. We'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, and Dean, talking about this setup, I mean, it is a difficult setup to drive, so I expect these guys to really have their hands full all night long here at Martinsville, just on the car, not to mention the track.
Yeah, they're going to have their hands full. I ran a few laps of practice. Wasn't the best. Car's tough under braking, hard to get that car woed up, and also hard to get off the corner. It seems to me, Jared, it's actually not that bad riding alone. It seems like this car rides pretty good on a very preferred line, like middle in, kind of lowish off. But if you got to go low to low or high to high, which you're going to have to do all night, it's very difficult.
Yeah, and passing gear is already hard, but there is a lot of aero at Martinsville nowadays. It makes it even harder to pass. But Dean, you think about that, the fact you're going to have to make a different line for yourself to try to get out from underneath somebody is going to make it really difficult because passing is just so hard at this track.
Absolutely. Looking on the points here, Ripka has got a nice lead over Jason Speer in second, Adam Recker third, Hund, Walker the second, Greg Ratliff, Bruce, Newton, Beller, and Allen, your top 10 right now. And we're getting down there, race 8 at 12. Someone, they're going to have to get up here, make some moves, and dare I say, hope for, one of our leaders to falter a little bit. You never really want to root for other guys to falter, but sometimes you have to, Jared.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. You look at the point stands, it's really tight in the points right now. You look at Lance Ripka leading the way, but he hasn't got it in the bag by any means. These other guys can step up and get involved in this series and still have a chance to take this championship.
All right, as they get ready to go, let's stand up and listen to the singing of the national anthem by Alicia Shipman.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the lands of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, all set and ready to go racing. On the pole, Jason Speer. What a job by the 83 machine. A 19638 Ripka will start on the outside of row number 1. And we'll just flash through the field. You can find your favorite driver as we are about to go green flag racing.
Yeah, and you look at this field, I mean, Dean, it's only about 0.04 of a second between first and fifth. So, I mean, that's pretty tight. 0.04 of a second between Speer and Ripka on the front row there.
33 cars. I think a few of them not gridding up. So 29 on the track here. Going to be a great run here. Can't wait to get this going. Of course, Jason Speer putting that car on the pole, and he's got a little rest in peace on there, and that's Hobo Shoestring there, famous for his train knowledge, and rest in peace to Hobo. Jason Speer down and away, and we are rocking here in the Martinsville 160.
Yeah, you got a good start there, and the outside line tough as Ab Newton falls in line behind Speer.
They got through one corner. That's key, and that's no laughing matter. It's tough here at Martinsville.
And Speer leading that first lap.
See the 61 way up the track. Olsen there a little further back. The front 6 or 7 get in line here, Jared.
Yeah, there's a lot of action all over. Everybody getting down to the bottom quickly. Except we got one driver on the outside, about 15th place back there. That might be Michael Ware. Didn't get a good look at the number. But right now, I mean, you look at everybody, and it's going to be tough here, Dean. Everybody's going to have to be patient to try to pass, and you're really going to have to save your stuff in order to get a run on everybody.
Todd Gilly going by. Well, was trying to go by Klaus Williams, and Scott Olsen has lost it into the turn. He pulls it back together. And that's what we were talking about, braking. Very difficult here.
Yeah, and you look, Dean, we talked about it. Scott Olsen just got in there a little bit hot and just got a little bit loose on entry. And now he's stuck on the outside there. But that separates that field. I mean, Todd Gilly is the last car in that main pack. You got the 57 car of Corey Leal. And then you have that second pack that's already kind of developing. And these guys are only about 6 seconds ahead of the race leader already, Dean.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be something. So you're going to be in traffic all night. Right now, Speer leading, Newton in second, Ripka, Person, and Gay, your top 5.
Yeah, and looking through the field, I mean, everybody's doing a good job getting through single file right now. Kind of looking through the field, trying to find, where the battle is. But that top 4 is where the battle is, right? I mean, Bernard Person, Ripka, Newton, and Speer, nose to tail there in the top 4.
I mean, it's good to see, though, Jared. You get single file. Now, the racing may not be as great on the broadcast or whatever, the side-by-side action, but you got to get some laps under you at a place like the paperclip, and they're allowing that to happen here.
Yeah, Dean, the guy I want to talk about real quick is Adam Recker in the 11 machine. 26th place right now. He is only 6 seconds ahead of the race leader. And this guy finished second last week, was battling with Ripka for the win late in that race at Richmond. And you just look at how these races kind of turn out. You get one bad qualifying, and now you have to work your way through the field all the way in the back. Yeah,
I mean, some of these guys, too, I'm telling you, their strategy was to go back here and wait for the cautions. We're green here right now, and it might not work to their advantage. We'll have to wait and see. Right now, Speer's still holding off Adam Newton.
Yeah, nobody really... Sorry, go ahead, Dave.
I was just going to say the top 4 look pretty even. And you look right behind him, like you got Ripka there, who's, obviously the points leader. And it looks like he's just kind of taking it easy. And behind him, Person, a guy known to roll the corner really well, Jared. And that's very important at a track like this.
I was actually about to say that, actually, Dean, so you led me right into it. Ripka is entering higher than anybody in the top 4 and cutting down off the corner in turn 1 and 2. But if you watch him in 3 and 4, he's kind of doing the exact opposite. He's kind of entering right at that line and then kind of diamonding the middle and then driving high off the corner instead of cutting down, whereas everybody else is wrapping the bottom.
We'll hop on board here with Ripka, and that's kind of what I was talking about earlier, Jared, with the car seems okay on like a preferred line, and Ripka might be riding that kind of preferred line. You try getting in, you know, just on the low or just on the high side, and it becomes a little different.
Yeah, heading down into turn 1 here. Ripka washing up just a little bit in the middle. He's trying to get that run off, and that's the thing, is like when you have a setup that doesn't really necessarily, like, you know, isn't tuned for your driving, the best way you can drive it is to try to figure out the best way to handle that car. And it looks like the setup is a little bit tight, so he's a diamond in that corner in, and you see him, he's driving in and letting the car roll up in the middle and then cutting hard off the corner.
Doing a great job. And you can see from this in-car shot, I mean,
oh, he got loose. Oh my goodness, he got in there hot, Dean.
So easy to do, Jared. This is the problem here tonight. We've already seen it a couple of times. You look a little further ahead, though, Jared. You're not going to be too long before you find Ken Holland right in front of them in the 84.
Yeah, Ken Holland came into tonight's race in the top 10 in points. He's had a good season so far, Dean. I mean, you talk about Ken. Consistent. I mean, he has not finished worse than 23rd all year, and he came off a 15th place finish last week at Richmond, but he is in danger of being lapped here inside 20 laps, and he almost misses the corner. He's up high in the wall.
Oh boy. And this is Richmond currently in this setup. This is the way it's acting, so very difficult. And you know, I was thinking about it. Jason Speer up front. Now, this might be leading right into Jason's... Oh, and Eric Whiting. Something has happened with Eric Whiting. He is showing off the track already, or in his garage. My goodness. Let's have a look at it. So Whiting coming off the corner, all looks fine. He heads down into the corner, I'm assuming under braking, and there it is, folks. Wow, and a massive overcorrection into the wall.
Yeah, and that is tough when that happens. I mean, sometimes you think you can save it, but he had that wheel locked up and just didn't save.
So I was talking about Speer there. Now, you know, Jason doesn't get a lot of poles out here, but this kind of condition might just suit him. You know, Jason known for the way he backs up the corner. He's easy on the brake. He's easy on the car, which makes him really good on the long run. Here, it's just necessary to have a decent lap, so it might fall right in favor of him here tonight.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see if anybody takes a gamble on some tires here. I think we got Fred Lester on pit road, but I don't think the pits were open. Looks like they're actually still could be closed. The red lights are on down there. Looks like they are still closed.
Interesting. You got Stevie Knight in here. I'm not sure. It almost looks like the rear end's jacked up there. I don't know what's going on with that car, Jared.
Yeah, it looks like they're... That is weird. I can't say I've seen that before.
That looks like an F1 pit stop where they just take the whole rear end up or something.
And there's Mickey Speer getting the lucky dog. Guess he got a lap down. Didn't see that happen. Oh, he started from pits. That's what happened there. So that's why he got the lucky dog there.
All right. So Mickey getting the lap back that he needs. Decent start here. Lap 20 at 160. They did a nice job on a very, very difficult conditions here tonight.
Yeah, we only had one taker on pit road. That was Fred Lester.
Yeah, and I didn't see Lester get tires, though. Looked like he was just in, maybe getting a little damage fixed or something. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, and Stevie Knight on pit road as well with, and I'm not, didn't see any damage on that machine, but something's going on under the hood there for sure.
Something's wrong with that machine because that right rear is still up in the air, folks. Or it could be just a visual, you know, that makes it look that way. I'm not too sure.
That was a weird one. But Dean, so far, I think this race is coming together, but you notice up and down the list of drivers, nobody's really moving forward. Corey Leal our biggest mover, up 6 spots from 21st to 15th. And you got Jason Ratliff, who started 32nd, but a couple of those guys didn't actually start the race, so he's up 7 spots from 32nd to 25th. So not a lot of movement going on so far tonight, Dean.
No, not much at all. A little further up, like Austin Hund's up 4 spots. That's good for him. That puts him up in the 9th. Not much beyond that. Klaus Williams up a couple of spots as well.
And this is the least favorite part of this track for me personally, Dean, is the restart on the outside. You have such a disadvantage because you have to hold pace speed and you can't roll up to the guy on the inside, and you just lose so much time being on the outside here.
Yeah, very, very difficult. And here we go. Green flag about to drop for these guys.
Green flag, green flag.
Green flag down and away. Slow start on the inside. Newton trying to capitalize. Big run. But under braking, it's very difficult here.
Ripka trying to get underneath him. This is what Speer wants. He's going to get a little bit of advantage. Ripka dives it in deep, and he washes up just a little bit. Newton had to take a little bit of an action there, Dean, off turn 4.
Yeah, that was a little scary. Under these conditions, with these brakes, not easy to dive the car in hard. Ripka doing it really well, but he almost stops on the rotation of that car. Holy cow. Newton drives right around.
Yeah, and that car does not look like it's suiting him at all tonight. He's really having a problem in the middle of that corner. It's just not stopping for him as well as I think he wants it to or needs it to.
A little further
So he's
back
got
to
it now.
15. That's Darren Bruce gets shuffled out to the high side. Looks like he's going to find a home in front of Hund here.
Yeah, good job there. Looking out in the chat, shout out to Ronnie Speer. He's watching tonight. Looking forward to a good race and a great broadcast from the best team. Well, Ronnie, we appreciate it. We love bringing you the action here on Wintel TV.
Yeah, we do, and we love bringing it to you, Ronnie, when Jason's out front. Here he is, Jason Speer, leading the way here. The 83 machine looking good. And again, he has got that hobo shoestring on the hood. And big shout out to all who loved hobo. These top guys doing very well. These top 4 seem to be in their own league right now, but George Leal hanging in there with the 93 of Mankowski. You got Gay, Dibble, Paul K. Travis, and Darren Bruce in your top 10 right now.
Yeah, and I want to talk about John J. Mankowski, Dean. We've talked about him a lot this year. He's had some good runs, but he hasn't been able to finish those runs off. He's been caught up in wrecks, maybe mistimed cautions, things like that. And it just seems like he's got the speed, right? And he just needs one race where he can put it all together. His best finish this year is only 15th, and we know he's been running better than that this year.
Yeah, well, that's something we always talk about. You need that one, and sometimes you need a little luck to get it started. Doesn't always start with sheer talent. You get that lucky, top 5 or so, build your confidence, and he'll get on a run.
Everybody's single file right now. I didn't really see any action going on. We did, I checked in on Greg Ratliff, Dean. I mean, this is a guy, we talk about him in 18th position. He started 23rd. He's a clean, consistent driver. He's good at every track we've seen him at this year, but Martinsville just not really fitting with him, it doesn't look like.
No, and right in front of him you see Olsen, the 57 to Corey Leal on the outside there. And Leal looks like he's got a little rear end damage on him.
Yeah, somebody got
Olsen up in the middle. Ratliff almost into the rear end of him. And this tough track still giving problems.
Seem to find the battles on the track when they're happening, don't we? Is Olsen and Leal going at it. Leal up 5 spots, Olsen down 5 spots. Remember earlier, he got loose under braking and almost wrecked it, but did a great job saving it. Leal doing a good job on that high side, Dean, off 4.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm watching here. I can't take my eyes off it. Leal prevailing here on the high side, and Ratliff goes, I'm going up there too.
Yeah, Greg Ratliff, he went up a little bit too high. Might have got the wall, Dean.
Wow, he did get the wall. There's no doubt about that. But the high side almost looks like it's a little freer and a little easier to drive for these guys. Be interesting to see how that plays out a little later on.
Oh, Olsen went up there, and he went too high. He's up in the asphalt, Dean. He's going to lose 2-3 spots here.
Yeah, Olsen, I'm telling you, Olsen is out of sorts right now. trying to figure out those brakes on that machine.
And there's a line of cars. This is what happens in Martinsville. Once you get out of the groove, there is a line of cars ready to take that spot and, shuffle you back, as you see the 75 of Michael Ware there, the 7 of Adam Kulikowski down there, Jason Ratliff back here. He finally gets in line, though, behind Daniel Blau.
He does back up front. Speer, Newton, Ripka, Person, still your top 4. George Leal starting to inch up into this group. Mankowski, Gay, Dibble, Paul K. Travis in 9th, and Darren Bruce 10th. So not a whole lot of movement here. Lap 37 at 160. Long way to go. And these guys doing a great job. I just can't tell you, I can't emphasize how difficult it is out there tonight.
It really is. And we about had a big wreck. The 64 machine got rear-ended by Fred Lester back there, battle for 25th position. About had a big wreck. Good job by everybody to stay straight there instead of going sideways. But, man, these guys, I mean, it's hard. It is a hard track, and then the setup is not doing them any favors here.
Olsen way down the track again. So Olsen continues to struggle. Kulikowski on the outside of him now. So 61, I'm telling you, he is not liking this, and he is going to the pits. He said, oh, no, and there's a wreck right around him. Looks like they saved it. How did they save that? Two guys went sliding into the corner and pulled it together. My goodness.
And that's a replay of what happened earlier between the same 2 cars, Dean. And it was a little bit more aggressive that time, but both drivers did a good job staying off there and staying green.
Wow. I think Olsen said, I'm not feeling it here. I want to get off the track and not ruin guys' nights. And right behind him, they almost wrecked. Here's Speer now. Him and Newton starting to stretch it out a little bit. Behind them, Ripka in Person. And you just wonder how long before someone takes control of this race.
Well, right now, I think Jason Speer is taking control of the race, right? I mean, he has led start to finish so far, or start to lap 41 so far, and done a really good job. Car looks smooth, but Adam Newton's not letting him get away. And you know how Adam Newton can be. I mean, I think that he's wanting to take this lead, Dean.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there's no doubt about it. He's going to show some patience here at a place like Martinsville, but for how long? That's the question.
Got some more guys out in the chat. We got Dan Gilly wishing us everybody a happy Sunday. Love you guys. And then we got Subi Drifts commenting on that save between the 64 and the 75, saying what a save out there. So we got a lot of interaction out there. We appreciate you guys. It's been a great race so far here tonight.
You see Gilly back in 13th. He's riding in that spot that I like, Jared. The get away from me spot.
That is very true. I mean, I think that he's kind of just found a spot he wants to be in. He's riding. You know, he's got a second on Eric Beller. He's about a half a second behind this battle in front of him, which is Klaus Williams, Darren Bruce, and Austin Hund here. This is a solid run for that 19 Kailu grass car.
Absolutely it is. Up front, the battle rages on. And Mankowski now, he's into 6th. I guess that's where he was, but looking solid. Him and William Gay here doing a nice job, 6th and 7th.
Yeah, everybody's getting a little bit spaced out behind here. 97 machine, George Leal kind of leading this second group, but George Dibble, good run for him, up in 8th position. Then Paul K. Travis in 9th as these guys continue to move around. And one thing I'm watching, Dean, is this race has gone on. George Dibble running a high arc into 1 and 2, and he's making up a little bit of time on William Gay here.
Oh, and behind him, that's Paul K. Paul K is around. Caution will come out. Everybody will avoid him. We just went to the blimp shot and seen that 88 lose control. And he's going to have a hard time getting turned around, Jared. There's no space out here.
And that's the same thing that we've seen earlier. You know, just got in there hot and looped it around. And we got pit stops, Dean, already.
Yeah,
Spears
already.
in, but Newton stays out. Newton has stayed out. We got split strategy going on.
Yeah, and this is where it gets messy, folks. Depends on who comes in and who stays out. Looks like the majority of the field coming in, so Newton and Person stay out. They might be on an island here.
Looking through the field, we got Nathan Hardy that might have stayed out, or he missed pit road, but otherwise it is just those 2 guys.
Yeah, you're right. Nathan Hardy coming around here, so he is staying out, at least for now. And there's your cars. Looks like Olson's back out on the track, so not sure what led Olson to pit, but he is back out, and he'll be at least a lap down.
So race off pit road, won by Speer, then Ripka, George, Leo, Mankowski. A little bit of a battle back here in the middle of the field with the 28 machine, but otherwise it was pretty status quo there.
You see Hund and Claus Williams, Beller, Gilly, Ratliff, Rincon, Leal, Tony, Ratliff, Blau, Michael Ware. That'd be your top 20 there.
Yeah, and
Michael Ware's got a new car, the old Fanatec car there.
Yeah, looks like he does have a new paint. We're usually seeing him in a different machine there. Hardy's staying out, by the way, Dean.
Yeah, I mean, I like it for Hardy if he can keep himself under control with the older tires. I mean, this is where it gets difficult. Old tires against new tires. It's only 3 of them, so it shouldn't be that high a risk, but it can get messy at times.
Olson is 8 laps down. He's going to drop back. So Mickey Speer was not the lucky dog. So it was actually, I don't think we got a lucky dog that time by, actually.
So Hardy, obviously the big mover here. He's up 17 spots right now. You got Greg Ratliff, he's gone up 8 spots, so the 5 is on the move. No big surprise there. And Jason Ratliff, who's picked up 10.
Yeah, the big one that's dropped is Paul K. Travis running the top 10. He is now the last car on the lead lap at 26. That's tough. Olson also started inside the top 15. He's 8 laps down in 28th. But most everybody else has dropped about 2 or 3 spots at most. Eric Beller down 5 spots from 13th or from 8th to 13th. Was running about 6 positions. These guys getting lined up, ready for another restart game.
Absolutely. So Newton's up front right now. Bernard Person in that brand new paint job there. Mama June's Magic Relish. Make sure you go check out their Magic Relish. It's supposed to be quite tasty.
I like some relish. I'll have to check it out.
Absolutely. So Newton leads them down. Bernie trying to keep pace here. Green flag down and away. Can't really tell. Pretty even there. Newton pretty good on the inside.
That was smart by those guys. And we got a yellow flag already.
Well, this can happen. Alland at the back, it looks like. I'm not sure what happened with him. He looks fine right now, except for he's missing a bumper. That can't be good news.
Checkup. It was a checkup by the 17 maybe. The car created a chain reaction.
So we see here a little run. Oh, and someone right in front of him. It looked like Corey Leal missed a shift or something. That caused the 17 to check up, and that chain reaction occurred. We'll go back and see the finish of what happened to the 84. Oh, and it's, yeah, he got hit by Paul K after all of that checking up.
And
wow,
that's tough.
He got hit pretty hard there. It looks like, I don't know if that was Klaus Williams or Recker. I think that was Recker. Yeah, Recker got a good piece of that too.
And those guys coming down pit road. Kulikowski on. Paul K. Travis is on. Ken Allen, he's like, I don't need that TV bumper. I'm staying out. So he's going to stay on the track, though.
All right. So caution on lap 54, 160. Newton, Person, and Speer with fresh rubber has gotten around Hardy. So watch out for the 83. I mean, he led the early part of the race. He's got fresh rubber. And, you know, Jared, you got to start thinking about when's your last pit stop. I know it's a long way to go, but that might be Jason Speer's last pit stop.
Yeah, I mean, you can do about 100 laps here. You can't do 160, but you can do about 100. And we do have some more guys on pit road. But, you know, going back to that restart, I like that restart because Adam Newton held that thing back as long as he possibly can. He made the starters start that race. That way he didn't get out there and have these guys on new tires jump him. He was holding that field back, bunching everybody up, and that's what he's going to have to do this time. Maybe change it up a little bit, but you want to hold these guys back as much as you possibly can. That way you can get a good run off the corner.
The old Bass Pro Shops on the hood there of the 2 machine. All you fishermen out there, I'm sure you're Been down to the Bass Pro Shops.
You don't go down there, Dean?
I don't think we have them up here. We might, but no, I like fishing, but I'm not a big fisherman, so I don't spend a lot of time buying the tackle or anything.
I pictured you out there in the Canadian whitewaters just getting that, whatever you catch up there.
Well, I like boats and beer, but I don't see why you need a fishing rod.
That's true. There you go. There you go. So we're about not even halfway through this race yet, Dean. And a lot of things can change, but I always get worried when guys don't pit. And I like the move by Adam Newton and Hardy and all these guys. It could pay off for them, especially if we keep getting some cautions here. But if you don't get a caution, you have to pit under green. That's bad. And if you do get a caution, and everybody else stays out, you have to work your way through, 20 cars, and that's going to be difficult.
Yeah, going to be very difficult. That's a great observation. Let's see how we go on this restart here. It's Newton up front, Person on the outside, Speer in third, Hardy in fourth, as Team Speer holds the top 3 spots.
And Newton holds it back again, maybe a little bit too much as Bernard Person jumping on the outside of him here. They're going to battle in turn number 2.
Person going for it here. My goodness. Speer right there. He thinks better of making any moves. Bernie doing a nice job on the high side. Low line gonna prevail, I think, though.
Birdie just drives it in. So deep contact between the leaders.
Wow, I can't believe he made that stick. What a move by the 8.
He doesn't do it in turn 3. There's something about turn 3 he doesn't like, but turn 1 he's willing to throw it in there really deep.
Wow, and here comes Jason Speer. He's not holding back. He's going to jump on the inside, so the 8 stuck on the high side here. Not much he can do, but try and find a home. He will in front of Ripka. Throws half a block on Ripka, but now he's stuck on the high side. Oh, boy.
And this is what you don't want when you have old tires. You're a sitting duck if you can't get down. Look at Adam Newton. He's been able to pull out to about half a second lead here, Dean. Whereas Bernard Person is struggling to find a spot in line. He will behind Ripka, it looks like, right where he was running before the stops.
Yeah, so Bernie back to 4th there. But you're right, Newton with clean air and clean track setting sail here. Now, can Speer stay with him, or does he even want to try? Does he want to just let this race come to him? We'll see. Ripka in 3rd, Person. Then you got Mankowski now in 5th position. So this cycle of pit stops has been good to the 93.
Yeah, Mankowski doing a great job up into the top 5. Ooh. Looking underneath Bernard Person, decides better of it at the last second.
That was dangerous. I'm getting all worked up here. Here he goes again, another peak. He keeps showing them. It's only a matter of time before he puts it in there.
Contact. He bounced in the back of Bernard Person and slowed him down. Leo's going to go to the outside of him. And this is where Mankowski, you just settle in and just get your rhythm. Don't worry about Bernard Person there. Find your rhythm, and you'll eventually get around him.
Yeah, well, Martinsville's tricky like that. So you got fresher rubber. You're a little faster, perhaps, but still not as important as it might seem to get up here and get by him and not let those other 3 get away from you, because there's going to be another caution. I mean, you would think. It's a matter of time.
And Dean, you're talking about Adam Newton before that happened, and Mankowski goes the outside of Bernard Person, but Newton, the thing is, there's not that much tire fall off here. If you're able to get out in clean air, you're able to get out and find a spot to work your way in, you're able to able to kind of stay where you're at. It's going to take these guys a lot of time to try to pass you. So if you're in the back and you make that call, it's great to make that kind of call, get that kind of track position right now. And you see everybody stacking up behind Bernard Person, but nobody's able to pass him.
Well, I was talking about this with someone, this track position thing here. And if you get a run in this area of the race, Jared, and if we go to, say, lap 80, lap 85, and there happens to be a caution, that's your last pit stop. Like, if there's any other pit stops, that's all about gaining track position. So for some guys, if there's a caution now, they stay out and they come right to the front. Like, you could shuffle the entire field with a couple of cautions.
You're exactly right. And I think that these guys are probably thinking about their next pit stop. already. And I think if we get a caution, around lap 85, 90, I wouldn't be surprised to see the majority of the field come down pit road, to be honest with you.
Well, that's the thing, and I don't think I said that quite right, but if you were in earlier, and it looks like we got a little trouble, Mickey Speer, and he's on the track. Whoa, and he's in front of our leaders, almost spinning right into them. Looks like Kulikowski was involved as well.
And this is going to be an interesting caution here, Dean, to see if these guys come down the road.
I think you come in now. It's your last stop, Jared. You come in now, and you hope there's a caution in about 30, 40 laps, and everybody else comes in, you stay out. Chain reaction there. He gets into Ratliff, and Kulikowski gets into him. The 81 of Mickey Speer is around.
So Bernard Person and Newton are on pit road, and this is what I was worrying about, Dean. I don't see hardly any takers other than some guys in toward the back. Eric Beller has come in, but right now it's just those three guys. Michael Ware and Nathan Hardy are in, and Adam Kulikowski was just involved in that wreck. So this is what I was worried about with them guys staying out. I would have just kept staying out. I would have just kept staying out until you had to absolutely pit, until you had 0 laps of fuel left, because now you're going to restart in about 21st position or so.
I don't mind this. The only thing is that you've got to realize what you've just done. You are now playing pit strategy. You're not racing anymore. You got to turn off the racer's brain. You're in 19th, 20th position, Newton in Person. You cannot go racing here. You're only going to get in trouble. Let the race come to you. Hope for a caution in about 30 laps. Everybody else pits. You stay out. You're back up front.
Dean, I'm going to say this. That's a hot take.
Thank you.
That's a hot take.
That's an old Martinsville trick, and it just has to fall in the right area. And the thing is, it's almost a certainty. There's almost no way that any league, anybody who can put 30 cars out here and go green for 90 laps, it's near impossible.
Yeah, you're 100% right. I just think that, you have to survive to be in position, right? And working your way through the field with such a 23 lap tire advantage, I mean, that's huge. These guys can get to the front. There's no doubt about that part. The problem I worry about is, how patient they're going to be getting there, and when will they lose their patience?
I'm saying don't try. Don't try.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
The only thing you're racing for is to stay on the lead lap. And whoever is pitted with you, whoever's on the same strategy as you maybe race them, but race nobody else. Be patient and just wait for the next caution and watch the whole field go onto pit road, and you just drive by la-di-da up to first place.
It's a really good point. I mean, we'll see how it plays out. That's what's fun about this, back and forth here. But one of us is going to be right here.
Right. Well, they are hot takes, at least on my side. I mean, I do like this, but I like it out of the strategy that I'm talking about. I like it out of necessity, not out of necessarily planning it that way. But, I've seen these fields flip at a place like Martinsville just from pitting.
Subi Drift said, Dean, a.k.a. Mystic Mac. Maybe you can go into that after this restart.
Well, I would if I knew what that meant. But, I mean, I do have my magic 8-ball here, but that's about as good as I get. All right, here we go. Back to racing here. Lap 74, 160. Speer back up front, the 83, right where he started.
Oh, Mankowski was looking underneath Ripka there, but got a little bit tight on the bottom. Ripka ripping that high side, gets right up to the back bumper of Speer into turn 3.
Up front, they're battling, but there's huge battles back at the middle of the pack here, side by side. You got Dibble. He's got Gay on the outside of him. Hund and Williams back there. Gilly. I mean, a little further back, the 28 is fighting hard. That's Rincon. He's got Bruce on the inside. Or actually, he's got Ratliff on the outside, I believe. Bruce and the 11 of Recker are going at it.
Contact between the 44 and the 94. Dibble and William Gay made some contact. Still making contact off turn 2.
All right, Dibble are going at it here. Now Hund on the outside of Dibble. And sometimes that high side seems to be working. Hund makes it work. He gets around George Dibble. Back up front. Speer, smooth as ever, starting to walk away a little bit from Ripka. Mankowski up to third now. It's George Leal into fourth, and William Gay. Let's check in on our pitters here. Newton back in the pack, and he's on the outside.
Somebody's up in the wall. Adam Recker up in the wall.
And that's right in front of where Newton is. So Newton coming into some heavy traffic. Got to be patient here.
Oh, somebody's got wrecked. Eric Beller got turned.
So Beller is around. Well, it looks like he's all right. Let's check in on it. So Beller with a whoof from Jared there. Down into the... Wow! Here comes the 75. He's going somewhere, folks. He's got a lunch date, and he is late.
I thought I had my mic muted there, dude. Sorry about that. I looked at that and I was like, that man's on a mission right there. That's all I could think of.
It's hard to tell sometimes, just to be fair.
Absolutely.
I don't know if that's a full send or someone who was really slow entering and just looked like a full send, because it looked like he cornered quite well. I mean, he did have a little bit of a backstop, but...
Yeah, I think that was one of those situations that kind of looked worse than it is. Beller was running a higher line entering the corner, and I think Ware just didn't expect him to cut back down the way he did. So kind of one and the other there. But we did have some guys come down pit road. Paul K. Travis on pit road, fixing some damage from that earlier incident. Beller's on pit road. Ken Allen is on pit road. Kulikowski also on pit road.
That's all your takers down there. So, those guys who did just pit before that are going to move, like Newton is going to move up a few spots here. Not quite the strategy call at this point. It was a little too early for them. Jason Ratliff comes in. That'll be another spot for them. So put Newton up to 16th. We'll keep an eye on him. But right now it's all about Jason Speer and really Hobo Shoestring here, getting some good airtime for Hobo. And we love that, man. Good guy.
Yeah, it was great. You always like to see, when people honor your memory or whatever. So, it's really great to see that. Jason has done that in the past, for other people. I remember broadcasting shortly after the death of somebody close to him before. So, it's tough. But he's going out here and he's putting on a great performance.
Well, and the name, you got to love the name. I mean, it made me think of Boxcar Willie. Everybody who's of a certain age should remember Boxcar Willie.
Absolutely.
I mean, don't make me bring up Roger Whittaker, the whistling fanatic. That's a story for another day, though.
Yeah, but right now, these guys, Dean, I mean, this race, it's not quite flipped on its head yet, but we are getting to that point where you could definitely see it happening sooner than later.
Absolutely. This is a super interesting race. I think these guys are doing a great job, and I hope they don't get down with a few cautions, because I'm telling you, this car is set up to have about 50 cautions. They've only had a few here. These guys are all doing a whale of a job out here tonight.
Absolutely. And a couple of those, were, cars that just got loose under braking, didn't take anybody else out. So we've only had, I think 2 multi-car wrecks all night. So it hasn't been too bad. These guys doing a really good job out here, really clean racing. And we're, past halfway, Dean. It's kind of starting to get to the pay window.
Well, we're getting there. Past halfway, you start thinking about it, that's for sure. You see all the boys ready to go here. Green flag about to drop. It's Speer and Ripka, Mankowski and Leal. Oh, and
good
a little wiggle.
The
83, a little wiggle out of those tires. But a great corner will pull him away. Ripka hangs on the outside.
Mankowski under pressure from George Leal, trying to put himself up into the top 3. Tight battle there on the outside. Looking further back, a little contact with the 25 machine, but everybody gets through there fine.
Mankowski still under heat. Leal really rocking the high side here. Big run. He's going to get the spot right around the outside. George Leal up into 3rd.
Yeah,
and
good
I think
run.
He found something here.
Yeah, he's still running kind of a higher line in 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Let's see if he does it down here. He does. He's running a higher line, about a half car width off the rumble strips there.
Yeah, I think he found something. And, you know, that'll happen, Jared. Out of necessity, you run a different line and you go, wow, this is quite nice.
Little check up there behind him, Austin Hund. Dean, he came into the last week's race 8 points behind Ripka, had that really bad race where he got called out down, never was able to get it back. And tonight running in the top 5.
Oh,
so
boy, we got something going on. I just heard some braking. We got a little pile up back here.
The yellow flag is out.
Yellow does come out.
That's
the
Hardy.
75 and the 64, Hardy and Ware involved. And there was a few others involved in that. Let's get a look at it. So we're with Hardy here, and in front of him, you're going to see something. A big checkup. Hardy comes in hard. He slides it. 75 right into him. Not much he could do about it. They get locked together and just cannot separate. Really not as big as a wreck as it looked.
And Jason Ratliff barely squeezing by there and making it through.
So Bruce hits pit road. That's one of the only takers here with 70 to go. And I think the strategy I was talking about, not going to work. It looks like these guys are set for the race. I don't see any of the top 5 or 10 coming in again, Jared.
I'm kind of surprised Darren Bruce is coming in. I mean, that is some fresh tires. I mean, it will pay off in the long run, but you're going to come out, 24th position. That's rough.
Now, we talk about those guys who did pit at one point. You got Newton, who's now up to 11th, and Person up to 14th. Now, they're not racing their way through here, and that's what I said. You don't have to. Just let these guys pit. So they're picking up some. Now they're going to have to race a little bit, Jared, and that's where it gets tough.
Yeah, and the farther up in the field you get, the harder it is to pass, right? So it is going to get to that position where everybody is going to be right, kind of running the same speed. Like I said before, there's not a lot of fall off on tires. Now we're getting the 23 laps. Darren Bruce on the, he's looking at 42 laps. There's definitely fall off there, right? So Darren Bruce has got a pretty good seat on the fresh tires back there, but he's in 21st position. Whereas these other guys, they're up at the front, and there's not that much fall off for about 20 laps here. So we'll see what happens though.
All right, Speer, Ripka, Leal, Mankowski, Hund, Gay, Williams, Dibble, Rincon, and Gilly, your top 10. They all pitted on lap 47, and you got Newton on lap 70 sitting in 11th. How about Blau? Daniel Blau back in 12th having himself a night.
Yeah, we haven't talked a lot about Daniel Blau, but that's a great run for that car tonight, Dean, up in 12th position. He came into this race pretty far back in points. He came in 4 starts, 34th in points, so he hasn't ran a full schedule. He did finish 6th at Bristol, so he has some short track experience, if you will. He's done really well in those short tracks.
Yeah, I mean, that might bode well for tonight, and maybe that's why he's here. He likes the short track. So the Oregon Duck Machine still rooting for Bo Nix. I got to bring him up when we see that Oregon Duck.
Got some interesting thing going on here. Nathan Hardy, I think he's passing the pace car. Okay, so something happened where he was in the wrong spot. I'm not sure, but that was very strange for a second there.
It looks like a lucky dog, but I'm not too sure exactly. But he is coming around.
Yeah, and NFL draft coming up in a couple weeks, Dean.
Well, I told you. You said hot takes. I told you, Bo Nix, best quarterback in the draft.
Yeah, I don't think you can get any higher than that.
That's a hot one. Write it down, folks.
Green,
What?
green.
Oh, here we go. We're green. Speer, Ripka, Leal, and Mankowski. I mean, what did he call me? The Mystic Man or something?
Yeah, the Mystic Mac. Mystic Mac.
Mystic Mac. Okay.
That's there you go. Put that down on Mystic Mac.
I'm gonna have to put that on my next car, I think. Whoa!
Hey.
Look at Leal go! Leal underneath of Ripka. They're very, very close together. Ripka sends it in on the high side. He does not want to give it up. But look at the run. Leal's getting off on the low side.
Yeah, Mankowski got a little bit of a bump there, and Leal takes second position. What a run for George Leal! Somebody's up on the wall back there.
It's getting a little nutty out here. People starting to amp up. They got used to this braking. They're ready to race, folks. So Ripka trying to hold on. Hund has worked his way up to 4th, and Klaus Williams up to 5th. They're both up 9 spots.
Yeah, Mankowski missed his breaking point. So did Todd Gilly. Both of them went really high. Both of them lost a lot of positions, Dean. But right now the story is George Leal moving forward, trying to hunt down Jason Speer.
George Leal looks absolutely fantastic right now. We're going to hop on board and take a little trip around the track with them and see what we can find out.
On board George Leal into turn 1. He's running about a half lane up off those rumble strips there you see on the bottom left there. And he's getting a little bit of a good run off the corner. Down into it, braking early. I love that. Braking early, doesn't get down to those rumble strips, but he's wrapping a lot tighter in 3 and 4. Off the corner, here we go. Brakes early, right at that black sign. It enters high. And I love that move because he cuts down and gets such a great run off this corner here. And it's going to make it really hard for Ripka to find a position to pass him at.
Let's hop on board with Jason Speer and see what that looks like. See that wheel lean to left a little bit.
Oh, caution.
Caution out, big wreck. And looks like chaos down there. I'm not seeing the wreck, but I'm seeing some chaos. Let's get a look in on it. Looks like Person was involved somehow. So we're on board. We're watching the 8 here, and oh, here comes Leal, and Person just gets into Blau mid to exit there. Corey Leal gets into Bernie, and that is Martinsville right there.
Yeah, it's one of those things that didn't really look that bad, but it looked worse because we saw the end of it where everybody was stacked up. Everybody's coming up pit road.
They're coming in. I'm wrong or am I right? Newton going to the front.
Yep. This is what I thought was going to happen.
In action.
Greg Ratliff also staying out. I think that is Tony Ratliff staying out. Bernard Person staying out. Bruce is staying out. This is going to shake up the field right here, dude.
I told you, this is what happens at Martinsville. A little flip. Now Speer is going to be back in 10th or beyond, and he is going to have to work through the field. I don't know if he can do it. Ain't nobody pitting from here on in.
Yeah, this is a big strategy call. I mean, Greg Ratliff, he was running 18th most of this race, Dean, and he's going to be finding himself in 3rd position. Tony Ratliff not too much further ahead there. He's going to find himself in 2nd spot. Paul K. Travis, he was involved in a single car spin earlier. He's up to 4th. I mean, this is really shaking the field up, Dean, and like you said, Speer's going to come out in 11th.
I mean, who could have seen this coming?
And Dan Gilly said, Mystic Mac has spoken.
That is correct, sir. I'm feeling vindicated here. I was second guessing myself, but no, this is what happens. So you got Newton, the Ratliffs, Travis, Person, Bruce now up here in 6th. Jason Ratliff up 25 spots into 7th. Beller, Kulikowski's up 16. Hardy in 10th, up 10 spots. And then Jason Speer with fresh rubber. He's got hobo shoestring on the bumper and hood there, and he is looking to win it for him here. So we're going to keep an eye on 11th place. And of course, George Leal. How about Leal's run here in the Dirty Mo machine?
Yeah, what a job he was doing there, right? I mean, he was chasing down Jason Speer, trying to make some moves, to get closer to him, but he already made the moves to get to 2nd place. But Dean, I have to say, I think the strategy call was great for Adam Newton on hindsight, but these guys have pitted. I mean, you're running out of laps. You only got 56 laps left. I don't think anybody's pitting from here on out, do you?
Well, no, I think it was a mistake to pit now. I mean, to give up the lead. If you could make it on fuel, there was no reason to pit there, in my opinion. But, a lot of guys did. So, like a guy like Speer or Leal, you come out 11th and 12th. It's not that bad, but that's a lot of guys to pass in 55 laps at Martinsville.
Yeah, this is going to be really interesting. We're going to have some new guys up front, guys we haven't talked about too much tonight. The Ratliffs, Paul K. Travis, three Ratliffs in the top 10 there, and Darren Bruce, Kulikowski up in the top 10 now. Eric Beller's up here, Hardy's up here. So there's a lot of comers and goers right now, Dean, as the pace car pulls off.
Pace car is off. Newton and Tony Ratliff lead them down to the green flag.
Green, green, green.
Green flag drops. You You got Newton Ratliff, Greg Ratliff, and Paul K. Travis in the row number 2.
Oh, and Tony Ratliff didn't get in that corner good. Greg Ratliff going to get by. Everybody makes it through there good. Hardy's up in the wall right in front of George Leo at about 13th position. 97 machine really boxed in right now, and he was having a good run earlier. Big run off the 4. 3 wide
back
on 4.
here. Leo down the middle. What? George Leo throws it down the middle and makes it stick.
That 16 machine is underneath of him. I'm not sure. That's Klaus Williams there. Dives it in deep. That's not going to wait. It did work.
We are seeing some driving. George Leo on a mission. Tony Ratliff just turned his fastest lap of the race. Person and Travis are going at it here in 4th and 5th position right now.
Klaus Williams driving it in deep, trying to get around George Leo. And we got Paul K. Travis missing the corner, and he gets up in the marbles.
Yeah, he tried to hook the outside and just drove in too deep. He loses 2 spots instead of 1. Instead of gaining 1, that is.
And Jason
Kulikowski.
The yellow flag.
Kulikowski was in the wall.
Might have gotten the back of him.
Oh, and he is just driving into the wall for fun now. That looked a little odd there. Looked like someone banging their head against the wall. Let's see what happened here to Kulikowski. So the 7 driving in, and here comes Speer with fresh rubber, and he just gets into them. They're pretty subtle, but off the corner, there was no hope for the 7 to hold on to that.
Yeah, there's a little checkup in front of him, in front of Kulikowski there. It looked like Eric Beller might have gotten loose on throttle, but, there's still quite a ways of distance there. Just unfortunate situation there, and just kind of a chain reaction.
So Hardy comes in, Alland, Lester, Kulikowski, all those guys come in. They were near the back. Well, Kulikowski was in a much better spot. I think he was around 8th, 9th position when he got hit there. So more laps ticking away here under caution. We're on lap 111 of 160, so under 50 to go. Newton, the Ratliffs, and Person and Bruce in there. Lucky Dog coming around now. That is
Michael Ware there going around for the Lucky Dog.
Okay, that's Michael Ware in that Fanatec machine. I think it was Michael who told me Fanatec in just fine condition, nothing to worry about over there.
Well, there you go. There you have it.
Well, I brought it up, and now I shouldn't have said that because now I'm going to have to talk about it. But the CEO was let go recently, and some restructuring in the company and their finances and everything. But he assures me that the new CEO says it's going to be better than ever, and all is well over in Fanatec.
Well, there you go. Looking out at the chat, we got Subi Drifts. He says he doesn't have enough nails to bite. Right now, he's on the edge of his seat here. And then we got Dan Gilly. He says, this is for you. Dean, if Mystic Mac would be top 5 in the points rate at this point in the race, what is your strategy?
Okay, if Mystic Mac was top 5 in the points?
No, at top 5 at this point in the race, what would be your strategy? So if you're running top 5, what would you do right now?
Oh, top 5. I mean, you just race. You're not pitting, that's for sure. The pitting is out the window. Doesn't matter when the cautions come. There will be no more pitting if you're in the top 5. Beyond that, at Martinsville, you've got to be willing to take a loss as a win. Meaning, a top 5 is a win here. You do not want to overdrive this car and get up here and trying to get a win from, say, 5th position or even 4th and throw away all of it to end up in 20th. So you take what you can get at a place like Martinsville.
Well, there you have it, folks. Mystic Mac with the Mystic message of the night right there.
Absolutely. I mean, we are set, folks. There will be no stopping from the main competitors. It's going to be Newton and Greg and Tony Ratliff with Bernard Person on the outside. Person looking a little roughed up there. Rubbed the Mama Junes right off that bumper. Green flag down on the way. A little wiggle from the 2, but a good start. Good fast start. Wow, Greg Ratliff wraps the high side here. What a move by the 5.
I thought he was dead in the water, and he takes the lead off turn 2. What a job by Greg Ratliff.
One of the best restarts you will ever see. The 5, Greg Ratliff, just rolls right up to the lead.
And we were talking... My goodness, we were talking about Greg Ratliff being 18th position earlier in this race, having a tough time out there, and here he is in the lead.
That was unbelievable. Here comes Darren Bruce throwing it down on the inside of Paul K. Travis. So the 15 starting to make some moves.
Big checkup back in the middle of the field. Klaus Williams and Jason Speer, guys behind him. Big checking up there because of the moves being made. I mean, we're getting down to it now, Dean.
Yeah, these guys all trying to position themselves. We got some newer tires trying to make some moves. Ripka back here in 10th, George Leal in 11th, and Mankowski in 12th. They were all up at the front at one point. Of course, Jason Speer back in 8th. Now, he led a lot of this race, and he does have some fresher rubber. Doesn't mean a whole lot until they get a little heated up here, and that'd be right around now. They're starting to get warm. You see there, he comes off good and low off the corner. But up front, Greg Ratliff, what a move, Jared. I can't believe what I saw.
Yeah, it looked like that Adam Newton was holding everything back, and he got a good start. A little wiggle, but nothing major there. Ratliff was slow to the gun. Oh, we got somebody's turned. It's Ripka gets turned in turn 3, Dean.
Wow, bad news for the 52.
No, I apologize. He didn't get turned. He did not get turned. I apologize.
That's our point leader, Jared, and as much as you hate to see it, some guys love to see it. They needed a break. They needed Ripka to have a rough race. It's looking like that might happen.
Yeah, he got in there and he got in off the concrete up in that high asphalt, and that car just went around on him.
So we're on the wrong car here. So Ripka coming into the corner. Oh, and you know what happened is he was coming in hot. He was going to hit, I think that was Klaus Williams, I'm not sure. And he kind of tried to avoid him and go high. And then, he got his braking point all messed up and around he goes.
That's a rare mistake from Lance Ripka. And Dean, you know who's liking this the most? Austin Hund, because he was second in points. And this is an opportunity for him to catch up on those points.
So Beller on pit road. He getting some tires on that machine. Michael Ware is in. Bring up our pit board and see who come in this time. It's just these 2, I guess. Here on lap 20. So you still got Ratliff out front. The guy to watch who pitted, he was leading, Speer, back in 8th now, and he's basically picked up about 3 spots since, in the last 20 laps or so. That's going to be tough to get all the way back to the front.
Yeah, it is, and I think it's going to be one of those situations where he's going to have to be patient, but he's run out of laps at the same time. And these guys in front of him, they're not going to pull over and let him go, Dean.
Well, they're not, and this is what we were talking about, when I was asked that question, and strategy, not top 5, but Speer's a great example in 8th. He's got to take what he can get here. Just put it out of your mind that you were maybe the best car out here tonight. Pit strategy is not going to allow that to happen. If you try for too much, you could be a hero. You could do something really special, but more than likely, it's not going to work out, and aggression will lead to bad things, Jared.
And we got some people in the chat, asking. We got Aaron Gilly. He's asking Mystic Mac, can you get him the winning Powerball number?
Well, let me see. Hold on. I'm gonna go to the Magic 8 Ball for this one. Please ask later, it says.
Well, there you go. There you have it, folks. I didn't even have to put a quarter in to get that information,
Yeah, that's a freebie. That's one off, Jared. You know me. I like my money, so.
Yeah. You don't get too many free ones with Dean.
So Jason Ratliff, our big mover here in the 55 machine, he's up 25 spots.
And what a night for him, right? And Greg Ratliff at 22 spots, but on the flip side, Ripka dead last right now, 23 spots dropped. He did come in and take some fresh tires. He's going to have a whale of a uphill battle to run here.
Watch George Leal back in 10th also. He has been really good. So Ratliff and Newton. Can Newton return the favor and send it in on the high side? We're about to find out.
Green, green, green.
Green flag down. Pretty even start. Newton getting a little push there. And no, he's not going to be able to hook the top. Can he filter in? He can, so he holds his spot. Tony Ratliff trying to hold off Person. Behind them, you got Bruce and Paul K. Travis. And man, it's getting tight.
Oh,
Shuffled up.
Oh, there it is. Speer's around. It's Speer.
Oh, no, and he's hammered there. Mankowski's involved. Oh, tragedy out on the track.
And that's what you hate to see right there. That is what you hate to see when you pit and you get in the back of this field a little bit and all of a sudden everything kind of just shakes out wrong for you.
It does. So Speer here. Here comes Leal into your picture. A checkup. Speer tries to cut underneath the checkup, and Tony or one of the Ratliffs gets into him. Jason Ratliff. Oh, that's tragic. I mean, Speer caught that checkup and just tried to make a little move and kind of hooked himself on the nose of Jason Ratliff. Very unfortunate for him and a few of the cars.
Yeah, and the problem isn't the guys that actually hit Jason Speer. It's the fact that there's a massive checkup, and these guys behind them don't necessarily see what's going on until they're right on top of it. I mean, Mankowski got pushed in the wreck by William Gay, who got pushed in the wreck by the 28 machine. So it's one of those chain reaction situations, and it's just really bad timing.
Well, let's go look one more time here. I'm gonna cue this up again if I can find it, and we're gonna go to. We're going to go to Bernard Person here because this is where it started. Now, there's some kind of wiggle here, Jared, out of Person. Now, I don't know if he had a little contact from Paul K. Maybe it's where you wind it just a little more. You see on entry,
like it was, yeah.
and it just a slight contact gets him out of sorts, and that causes that whole checkup scenario.
Well, it started off actually coming off turn 2. Paul K. Travis got a whale of a run and got in the back of Bernard Person, middle of the way back to the back straightaway. Not a lot, just a little bit. But I think that kind of sent Bernie in a little bit hotter than he wanted, hit the brakes harder, and then Travis got in the back of him and just kind of started a train reaction.
Yeah, this is tragic to see. Jason Speer on pit road. He's got to be fuming right now. I mean, it's just tough. I mean, this is why you don't give up track position at Martinsville. I mean, I know he don't want to hear that right now, but it's absolutely true, Jared. I mean, I would rather have 100-lap old tires and be in first than fresh tires in 15th.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where the difficult situation comes in, right? And, it's just tough. It's just tough to be involved in those kind of things. Been there 100 times.
Yeah, well, that's how I became Mystic Mac, Jared. It's not by some force of nature, but by experience and doing things wrong so many times you learn. I remember one time leading a race at Phoenix and dominating the majority of the race. Pitted with 15 to go from the lead, the entire field stayed out. Not a good sight.
Yeah, that's probably the worst that can happen, really, when everybody keeps going and you have to be on pit road.
So here we go. Greg Ratliff, who made an amazing move 2 cautions ago around Adam Newton, going to lead us down to the green flag.
And here we go.
Green flag, green flag.
Green flag down and away. Good start by Greg. Behind him, Tony Ratliff trying to file in. Here comes Darren Bruce. Do not sleep on the 15. He's up high, though, in the wall. That causes problems. Around goes Bernard Person. George Leal trying to fit in there. So maybe we should sleep on Darren. Sorry, Darren. And a couple guys taking the wall there.
It is getting rough out here. Darren is getting used up, is what I like to say here. 3 wide back here. Jason Ratliff way up high.
I'm watching this battle intently between Leal and Person. Person holds them off. Go back a little bit to Williams. They're just in front of them, and that's Mankowski. And then you got Paul K. and Darren Bruce. Darren Bruce is not liking the high side. My goodness.
That car looks out of shape and out of control when he's up there. He dives in deep, and he's just right on that edge of that asphalt and the concrete transition, and that makes that car drive pretty weird, really, at the end of the day, because you just kind of lose grip.
He is, yeah, and you can see it there, Jared. Every time he's just about a hair too high, and it just will not turn, will not grip. Up front, Greg Ratliff. Newton still right there in his shadow. Behind them, Tony Ratliff. Then you got Bernard Person, George Leal right there, along with Austin Hund. So Newton just set the best lap of the race, or his personal best anyway. I think it was the fastest of the entire race.
It sure was, 19.693, so quick
and he's
race.
loose!
Oh, he's loose!
Oh, good save by Newton. My goodness, the Bulldog. They're trying to hang on. He sets his fastest lap, gets a little overconfident, and gets loose.
That could have been disaster for Adam Newton right there.
I mean, I can't tell you how tough that is to save, Jared. At a place like Martinsville, usually when you're done, you're done. But no, he saved it. Great job.
I'm checking in on Lance Ripka, who hasn't moved up a whole lot since his excursion earlier. He's sitting back in about 19th position. Wrapping the high side, though, but he's got his work cut out for him if he's going to get back up in this race.
You can see there that high side. It was just about a half car length lower than where Darren Bruce was, and it just seems like that's the limit of where the grip is, Jared.
Absolutely. It's a fine line. It's a fine line indeed.
Absolutely. Up front, Greg Ratliff now got a big gap because Newton got loose. Tony Ratliff, how about him? Let's talk about Tony here. The 6, you know, he's showing speed, and he often comes late in races, but he's looking particularly good tonight here in 3rd place.
He is doing such a good job. This is one of his best runs all season long, Dean. He's doing such a great job out there. You know, and we got a caution on track.
It's Newton.
It's
Newton is around. He has lost that machine all alone, I do believe. So Newton trying to do something, overdriving here, perhaps. Let's have a look at it. You see him come off the corner, all is fine. And imagine to be on entry here, and there she goes, folks. That is an easy thing to do here at Martinsville. So he'll drop considerably here, maybe put him back up around 5th or something, but Newton currently shown in 10th position.
Paul K. Travis coming down pit road from a 6th position. That's a interesting call, Dean. So I think that means Mystic Mac was wrong.
Why is that? I mean, Paul K. is wrong. Mystic Mac is never wrong.
Oh, damn.
No, in all honesty, I would imagine Paul K. had to come in, because if this is a voluntary pit, it's a mistake. There's no doubt about it. I think he had to for whatever reason. But again, if he came in on his own with 20 to go, that sounds just like what I talked about at Phoenix. I came in and learned a place like Phoenix, or let's talk Martinsville, I mean, really, inside of 50 to go, inside of 60 to go, you do not pit.
Yeah, we also, I mean, that's what happened to Greg Ratliff at Richmond last week. Pitted from the lead with 5 to go and just, you know, didn't get those positions back. As we see, Jason Speer gets the lucky dog, so he's going to be back on the lead lap trying to salvage something from this race. But right now, we got a Ratliff front row, Tony and Greg up in front, Bernard Person, George Leal, Austin Hund. Dean, you know, we're down to, you know, 19 laps to go. Going to be about 17 laps to go. You know, who are you putting your money on?
I'll take Ratliff.
There's 3 of them. Do you want to be more specific here?
I do not. No.
Okay.
No, but I mean, Greg, a heavy favorite. My heart, I'm rooting for Tony all the way. Tony, I mean, to watch him get up here and perhaps get a win would be fantastic. But, you know, all these guys, man, like Greg, of course, going to be great. Person's up here. He loves the track. Car's a little beat up. But how about George Leal in 4th?
You know, that's who I was going to put money on. And by the way, Dan Gilly says the commentator curse does not apply to Mystic Mac. So keep that in mind.
That's right, exactly.
So that means you have to choose a Ratliff.
Got Leal back here, Hund. I mean, what a quiet night for Hund. I like barely been calling on him, and that's what you like at Martinsville, Jared. You want to be sneaky and quiet. Don't let anybody know you're out there. Nobody touching you. Nobody harassing you. You just mind your business, and you end up right in the top 5.
Well, he needs a good points night to get back in the points race, as Ripka's, got 28-point lead on him right now. This would be, I'd cut this thing in half if this thing finished right now, so that would be good for him.
This race is shaking up everything. I mean, Speer's been shaking back to around 20th, and Ripka going to lose a lot of points in that big lead. Here we go. Back to green flag action. It's the Ratlifts doing battle. Oh, and Tony looked like he almost missed a shift or something there on the top side. He made good on it, but he blew the corner. Here comes Leal.
Oh my goodness, he blew the corner. I thought that was going to be a massive wreck. Does a good job getting it back under control, but he's still putting it
no,
up. He's getting turned by William Gay in front of the field. He's upside down almost, and other guys involved.
All kinds of carnage out here. I mean, this is a parking lot, folks.
Wow.
This is like trying to get out of Kmart or Walmart, whatever.
I think Adam Newton got involved in that wreck. Darren Bruce is involved with damage. Recker, Todd Gilly might have gotten some damage as well.
So let's see this here. Up in front, they go 3 wide here. Gay throwing it in underneath a Tony, and there was maybe a little room, but maybe a little aggressive, hard to tell. And then you see the parking lot here, just terrible, terrible stuff.
Yeah, and once everybody gets turned around, the guy that's right behind you, he's trying to check up. It's the guy 5 cars back that has no idea what he's turning into because he can't see it because the corners are pretty much blind down there, and everybody just kind of absorbs into that wreck.
Well, just to be clear, Mystic Mac apparently can curse people. I feel bad for Tony here. Back in 23rd now. I mean, he blew that corner on the restart, and it was on from there. And then Gay puts him 3 wide late into the corner, and that causes the entire pile up.
Yeah, tough break for Tony Ratliff, who was having, like I said, a career night, honestly. I mean, really good run for him. And now, you look up and Dean, you have to think that George Leal is in a good spot here. He's right behind Ratliff, gets to restart in a pretty good position, in my opinion. So, I mean, this is going to be pretty interesting to see how this turns out here.
Yeah, I mean, I love this spot. I mean, I like first better, but George Leal in third, anybody who's ever raced with me knows I can't stand second because on the high side, very hard to match the leader, for me anyway, and I end up losing second to third. So in my estimation, George Leal in a prime position here to get around Bernard Person and fight for this win.
Yeah, this is going to be tough. I mean, this is going to be tough to pass Greg Ratliff. We know how hard he is to pass and how good of a job he does. So these guys are going to have to show up and work for it.
Yeah, and how about Mankowski here back in 5th? So J-Man has made the best of this night.
Yeah, and if he finishes there, that'll be his best finish of the season. He wants that. He's thinking about, getting his season turned around here a little bit and getting a good run.
93 looking good. Hund. Newton in 6th now, and George Dibble hasn't got a lot of time. How about the 94 sitting in 7th position right now?
Yeah, Dibble. I mean, he has been seen in he's been around a lot of stuff, but he's been able to avoid it. So, that's always what you don't want to be involved in anything, that's for sure.
All right, great race here. We expect a great finish. Coming down to 10 to go here on the restart. It's going to be Greg Ratliff, Bernard Person. You got Hund and Leal, Newton and Minkowski, Dibble and Recker, Williams and Blau in your top 10. You see Person a little off, a little behind our leader. Green flag down. And there Ratliff, good launch, but so did Person. Leal did not take advantage, but he's trying now. He gets underneath, and you see that's exactly what I was talking about. That preferred line. Leal going to get in here and try and take second away from Person. I think he'll do it. And yellow
Big
again.
Wreck.
Big wreck. The Ripka involved again. Speer gets through. He's trying to make the best of a bad situation here.
I think with Ripka, I think that he might have got up on the curb and couldn't tell exactly what happened.
Well, here he is. He's under. Oh, and gets squeezed there by the night. That's Gilly there, and under braking, he just goes away. I mean, that's a couple of times for Ripka, and you know, I hate to say this, but I blame the car more than Ripka. I don't hate to say it, but I could not get a handle on this car under braking, Jared. There's something very odd about it, and it's not suiting Lance Ripka tonight.
And the other thing I'll mention is good job at the field not getting into him. I mean, he spun it around, got out of the way as quick as he could, and nobody hit him. So that's always good. You don't want to get piled into there. So it's been a tough night for our point leader.
Yeah, definitely. But, you know, I always say it, one's misfortune is opportunity for others. So opportunity knocks. Greg Ratliff looking to walk into that opportunity. And how about George Leal? Now, we just talked about, I like starting third. He'll have to start second now, and now the advantage goes to Person in my mind.
Yeah, and this is the first time we've seen Leal on the front row all season on a restart or a start. So this is going to be really interesting to see how he's going to handle this situation. Can he get a good run on that outside, get a good jump into the corner? Can he pull a Greg Ratliff where he just sends it down, hit there, and sticks it?
Listen, I've seen him hook that outside here tonight, so if his nerves aren't frayed, I have a lot of faith in George Leal's driving ability, and especially riding that outside lane. So we're going to find out. I mean, he's got to get a good start. We've seen a couple of, I don't know if they're wheel spins or early or late shifts, Jared, but I've seen the cars wiggle a little bit, and I think that could be an issue here for some of these guys.
That is one thing about this track. As the race goes on, the restarts get harder and harder, even on fresh tires. That the track just rubbers up so much in that restart zone because you're getting the gas down in such a low gear, and it just absolutely makes it difficult to get in the throttle on those restarts, especially if you mash that gas.
All right, another great tip from Mr. Jared Carr there to watch that, and that's a great explanation there. I imagine starting in those low gears would rubber up the track like that.
Yeah, it absolutely has caught me out a couple times in the past. So at this track, so that's how I know it's the experience thing you talked about earlier.
Yeah, you gotta be unsuccessful to be successful, Jared.
Absolutely, that's the best advice that I could hear. But Dean, this has been, you know, a race of all kinds of topsy-turviness. I don't even know what's going to come next. That's how crazy this race has been.
Well, that's exactly right. You just don't know how this is going to play out. And I love that. It's been a great race. I mean, cautions are to be expected in these conditions, so there's no concern in my mind in that regard. Great race so far. Ratliff, Leal, Person, and Hund. Here we go. Coming down to 4 to go in the Martinsville 160.
Green, green, green.
Green flag drops. Leal, a great launch on the high side. A little better than Ratliff. Ratliff gets it back, though. Hund pushing hard. Person pushing hard. Leal trying to hang on. Person trying to fight back and keep that nose under there. He does.
Leal wants that outside so he can wrap it.
And they're wrecking back. I can hear tires. It's Ratliff, but we go back up front. And yes, we are under caution.
Wow.
So that was Tony Ratliff back there in the Remington machine. Not sure if he was the one who started it. We'll keep an eye on it. They're 3 wide up ahead there in our screen to get that sorted out. Oh, and there it was. I didn't really see what happened, but Ratliff.
It looks like it started with the 55 and the 81.
No, the 81 comes down unexpectedly on the straightaway for no apparent reason. He just wiggles down low. He's going straight, and he just turns left and gets into the 55. Wow. Very unexpected. Speer, nice job of avoiding that by Jason Speer.
And poor Jason Ratliff, I mean, up in the top 10 tonight, and just kind of bad spot there. Not sure exactly what happened there. I don't know if maybe there was a a wheel malfunction for a second or something, but very strange on the straightaway there.
Yeah, and that's usually the case. It's usually not a driving incident. It's a home incident or a connection incident. Something happens. Sometimes Windows just says, hey, I want to update right now, and black screens you.
Corey Leal will get one of his laps back right now, so that's going to leave us with 24 cars on the lead lap. But, Dean, this league, only one opportunity for a green-white checker. So George Leal, Bernard Person, Austin Hund, these guys, they got one shot at it. And if we get a caution on that first lap, it's over. The race is over. So this is going to be really interesting. Can Greg Ratliff hold these guys off?
Well, that's the thing, Jerry. You brought up something interesting, and that's the fact that the caution will end the race. And it's likely to happen, just to be honest. So it's a likely caution. Now, do you just throw it in on the high side as deep and hard as you can and hope when the caution flies, they score you in front of the leader?
I've seen that happen, surprisingly enough. Not for the win, but I've definitely seen that happen for, a restart. I mean, it can happen, and I think George Leal's got to gamble on something like that if he wants to get an opportunity to win this race tonight, right?
I mean, it's all in what you want. Are you here to win? I mean, I know all racers are. Are you thinking championship? Are you thinking points? Are you thinking victory? Because there's a different way of racing. I'm getting old, Jared, and I'm starting to be conservative. I'm happy if I'm anywhere in the visual right now, maybe the top 10. I'm just going to take what I can get. If I'm in seconds, fine. I'd be happy to get out of here with it. But some guys, they want this win bad, and if you want it, you're going to have to throw it into one.
Yeah, I think the only guy up here that's kind of point racing right now is maybe Austin Hunt. I think the rest of these guys are hungry for a win. Greg Ratliff has got the catbird seat, but will somebody go out there and make it happen for him? We're about to find out.
Oh, my goodness. Hold on to your chairs and your hats and all of that. Here we go. Ratliff and Leal, Person and Hund. Green flag drops.
Green.
Another
good start by Leal.
Awkward shift up top. Leal sputtering. So great start by Greg Ratliff. Person going to come around and
Wrecking
I hear
already.
squealing. They're wrecking,
That's it.
and it's over. Greg Ratliff going to win this race. Looks like George Leal will hold on to second. And Rincon ends up going down pit road for some reason. Or he's wrecked. Okay. Well, that's unfortunate. Rincon's going to go all the way to 23rd spot. Wow, that is so unfortunate for him.
And Leal actually is going to get scored third, Dean. He it's one of those
he
things.
is scored third now. Okay.
Yeah.
So Person steals second there. Good job by Bernie. And that somewhat beat up machine, take second. But Greg Ratliff, how about the move he made for this victory?
I mean, I think it's disingenuous to say he stole this race, but he pretty much stole this race. Pit strategy, came down pit road at the right time, was able to stay out, and it made it work for him. And
he drove right around Newton on that restart, though, Jared. I mean, on the high side.
Exactly. Yeah, the high side to get it. Getting him in position. He had to do that pit strategy, and then he comes out there and does the great restart. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a restart like that here.
No, I've seen that at Richmond. You can do that at Richmond in corner one. But I've never seen it at Martinsville. It was so impressive, and he's going to sit here in victory lane now and just love this. What a job. I mean, Greg, he's already a past champion here, and he's one of the men to beat, so Ratliff showing his muscle.
Yeah, first win of the year for Greg Ratliff, and, right now, I mean, that's huge for him. I mean, it kind of gets him back in the phrase of maybe a points championship here. I mean, he's still a little bit ways back, but that's huge to get your first win of the year at a track like Martinsville. And the other thing, too, Dean, Lance Ripka, not a great night, but he did recover for 11th position. So he mitigated those point losses pretty good tonight.
He absolutely did. Let's quickly look in on our race results here. And we're going to see some unhappy guys and some happy ones. Of course, Ratliff, your winner, Person, Leal. Newton comes back up to fourth. Good job by him. Hund, a really solid night. Quiet, which I like at Martinsville. Recker in sixth. Mankowski Dibble, Williams, and Gilly. So some Gilly there in 10th, and Mankowski, Dibble. I mean, a lot of good finishes for guys here. Paul K. Travis, Beller, Ware, Tony Ratliff falls to 14th. You got Alland, Speer in 16th. I mean, just tragedy for the 83 here tonight. Ripka, also a tough night, and Bruce falls late when he got on that high side. So a lot of heartache out here, Jared, and glory for Ratliff.
Yeah, and what a race it was. A lot of different things happened in this race. I mean, it was a topsy-turvy one for sure.
Well, yeah, topsy-turvy in the same family even, the Ratliffs. I mean, just unbelievable action. Right now, though, let's take a short commercial break, and then we'll hear it right from these guys' mouths. All right, another look at the rain in iRacing, and you can love it or hate it, but they did a nice job with the way it looks anyway. I can say that much. I have not tried it, but I encourage you all to go give it a shot out there. Jared, here at the paperclip. Paperclip did not disappoint. One tough track here tonight.
Yeah, it was. And a lot of guys, we saw how this race transpired. Jason Speer leading the entire thing at the beginning of this race. Pits late in this race. I mean, he pitted early, took most of the field with him. Pits late in this race. A little bit more of a split strategy that second time around, Dean, and it ended up getting him in the spot where he gets turned around, and just a tough night. But it all went to Greg Ratliff for sure at the end.
Yeah, it really did. He did an awesome job. And I got another guy who did a great job himself. That's the 97, George Leal. Third place tonight. Perhaps won it even more, George, but what a great night for you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I was looking for a little more green flag racing there at the end. I think I had fresher tires than all the guys around me, but it just didn't work out.
Yeah, well, tough track and tough setup for the track even, and so, it's going to be tough to get those green flag conditions. But talk a little bit, I want to hear a little bit about the earlier parts. Seen you on the high side a little bit. Seemed like you seemed to find something up there at one point in the race.
Yeah, I typically have a little bit of a shallow entry at Martinsville, but I was following behind those guys in the top four at the beginning of the race and was kind of trying to copy their little bit later entry, and it kind of helped me roll the exit a little bit better. So just trying to pick up what I can.
So we get down to the end of the race, George, and you're starting in third position. And, I like to say I'd rather be in third than second just because of the visuals of it all. I hate starting second. What were you thinking? Because in the next one, you had to start second after that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I would much rather be third any day. I don't know how many restarts we had, but I think I was only on the bottom for 2 of them. And it was tough racing, but, you had to go.
You did. You had to go. And speaking of had to go, at one point you got back in traffic there. We seen you come down the middle. How scary was that? You come down the middle nice and clean and got through there.
Yeah, it's not really something you want to do at Martinsville, but I think there was some guys up there with some older tires, and some guys would shoot the high side a little bit too hot, and if you slid up the track, it's either check up and lose 4 or 5 spots or, go for it. And I don't really like to go through wide at Martinsville, like I said, but, if not, you're going to lose too many spots.
Well, we head down to Texas now. How are you feeling about that, George?
I think I have a little work to do on the 1.5 miles, but I'm kind of messing with my wheel settings here and there and trying to figure out something. But those guys are pretty tough. I think I usually run 10 to 15th, so hopefully I can do a little better.
Well, George, I think you're becoming those guys. I mean, we're watching you get faster and faster week in, week out. Great finish here, finishing third, a hell of a points night for the 97. Congratulations, and we'll give you the floor. Anybody want to shout out? Any sponsors? Anybody watching?
Yeah, I've got a couple guys I work with that watch you guys every week, and they really enjoy y'all's broadcast, so appreciate you guys doing such a good job. RGR, I really enjoy racing here. I really respect a lot of these guys. They're really good racers. And my wife, last, she's upstairs. We've got 2 crying babies. We have twins, so I got to get up there and give her a hand.
All right, George, and congratulations again. Jared, that was third place in 97, George Leal.
Yeah, good run for George. I think he has his hands full tonight, Dean. And I'm down here with our runner-up, Bernard Person. great run for Bernard Person here tonight. Bernie, congratulations on that runner-up finish tonight.
Thank you, buddy. It's good to hear from you.
Yeah, good to hear from you again. Another second straight week we've talked to you here. What a wild race. I mean, let's talk about how your race went. I mean, you started off in fourth place. You ran fourth place, had a caution. Everybody pits except you and Adam Newton. I mean, that had to be a lonely feeling.
It was. Adam kept saying they're going to be short on fuel if we went green. So it was a gamble, and I was questioning it, but, I'm really bad when it comes to figuring stuff out like that. So I follow his lead. And
Well, go ahead.
no, I just it worked out at the end with those cautions for us to get through the field, but it would have been a little harder.
Yeah, I mean, it was looking really, really really tight there, I should say, when that happened. But then, kind of to everybody's surprise, you guys pitted off sequence. You started way back in the back, kind of moved your way through, and then all of a sudden, on lap 90, Jason Speer leads pretty much the entire field back down pit road, and you end up getting back up into the top 5. I mean, did you expect anybody to pit again? Or did they run out of fuel? I mean, it was kind of surprising to see people come back down pit road.
Yes, I was questioning that because I said earlier before we went green, I asked Jason if he was good on fuel, and he said yes. So I don't know why a lot of people pitted.
Well, it worked out for you. I mean, let's talk about the end of that race because that's where the money happens here. Greg Ratliff gets a great run on the outside of Adam Newton, takes the lead, and you're sitting there in third place thinking, hey, maybe I can get in here as well. And then George Zeal goes around the outside. He gets to that second place, takes it away from you there. But at the end of that last little restart there, you edged him out and grabbed that second place. Were you hoping maybe you had a little bit more time to maybe get to Greg Ratliff there, or just you thought maybe we got where you got?
No, I wanted green run because of the way I have it set up with the brake bias and the offset. So I needed that some more laps green.
Well, there you go. Well, Bernie, it's still a great run nonetheless. I think a win's coming pretty soon for you, man. And congratulations on that. I'm going to turn the mic over to you and let you have the last word on your race tonight.
Thank you, Jarrett. And obviously I want to say thanks to you guys. It's always great to go back and watch all the replays in the race and hear you guys talk. It's always exciting. My teammates, Adam, Jason, Darren, Mike. I know I'm missing a few. I got Mama Jean on the car. I know the sponsors, Fab, Color, Creators. I know I'm missing one other one. I don't remember. And RGR, the league, for always putting, except for this race, a good show. And if anybody wants a paint scheme done, go look up Scott Olson. He's really good at paint schemes.
Well, there you have it, Dean. Second place finisher, Bernard Person, and I believe you're down in victory lane with our kind of a surprise winner, Greg Ratliff.
Well, I don't know if it's a surprise or not, but yeah, Greg Ratliff in victory lane doing a whale of a job. Congratulations, Greg. Nice to see you back in victory lane.
Oh, man, it feels good to be here, and it feels about like a miracle starting from 21st.
Well, that is a bit of a miracle at Martinsville, but you played a little bit of strategy, which is good to do here. You make those pit stops work for you. But I want to talk about the big moment of the race. I mean, you drove right around Newton on that restart. Tell us a little bit about that corner. How did you hook that high side?
I really don't know. I just thought, that was probably going to be my only opportunity to get him. And I'm about as shocked as you are, actually, that he kind of, I don't know if he let me in or if he just, I don't really know what happened there. But, yeah, I'm surprised.
Yeah, it was a whale of a job. Really tough to do. There's a fine line. Jared talked a lot about it. That high side, you're inches away from not being able to turn. And, another 2 inches down lower and it will turn. So you hit it just perfect. She's stuck. You go to the lead. Now, talking about the race, you started back in 21st. Now, we got a bit of a green flag start there. How was the car feeling during that time?
Well, the car felt pretty good, but it was just, I tell you, man, at this track, it's so hard to. There's so many different braking points for guys. You know, I like to let the car roll, and you probably seen it, but it bit me a couple times. I got in too hot, and trying to avoid running over the guys in front of me. It's very difficult.
Yeah, it is super difficult, but you're back in the hunt here, Greg. I think you moved up into fifth position in the points now, and Ripka, unfortunately for him, not a great night, and he's going to open the door to the rest of the field here. How we feeling as we head into Texas next week?
Oh, I'm feeling good, man. This is what I needed. Had a little bit of a tough break at Richmond last week. I had a good car there, and then untimely caution kind of bit me there. But yeah, this really feels good. Moving in the right direction in the points, and I hope I can just continue that. But I think we'll do all right at Texas.
And before I let you go, I want to give a little shout out. I believe your brother Tony, right? It was up there in or Jason. My apologies. I get everybody. It was Tony up there. So, I mean, the Ratlifts were having a good night, but some didn't have the fortune you had. So you held it down for them tonight, Greg.
Well, yeah, it's a shame for them and all the other guys that was, having a decent run. And I know there was a lot of cautions there at the end, and if it hadn't been for those, I might not be sitting here if it had some more green flag. That's why we want green flag. I hate to see anybody's night get ruined if you've done work practice for 2 hours or whatever. But yeah, I mean that was a shame.
Well, there was some shames, of course, Jason, who led a lot of the race, and others. But I got to tell you, a little thought on that was the car track combo was very, very difficult. We don't blame anybody here tonight for these cautions. It was inevitable. We talked a little bit about it. Yeah, I mean, I thought you guys did a great job at the start of the race doing a pretty long green flag run. But let's get back to you, Greg. Sitting down in victory lane, celebrate this one. I mean, enjoy it. It was a great victory. We're glad to have you back up here. Great representative of the league. Congratulations. And we'll give you the floor, man. Any shout outs you want to do here?
Oh yeah, as always, I want to thank all my buddies at RGR, all the drivers. Uh, you know, Todd and George, you guys for the broadcasting that you do. I know that's probably time consuming and a lot of effort goes into that. All my teammates at United Motorsports, and yeah, that's about it. It you know, enjoy it.
All right, Jared. Greg Ratliff back in victory lane.
Yeah, what a run for him! First win of the year. I mean, what more could he ask for? And he did it with just a kind of a strategy move to take tires when everybody else kind of got off sequence with those guys, and really the winning move of the race, maybe the best move we'll see all year, driving it down the outside and making it stick and getting around Adam Newton. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen somebody be able to do that as well as that happened.
Yeah, just incredible to be certain. Thrilling event here, and a new nickname was born tonight, Jared, but it wasn't a driver. It's up here in the booth, apparently. But nonetheless, we'll head down to Texas next week, and we hope you all come and join us. That's the RGR Racing Winston Xfinity Series every Sunday here, 9:10 p.m. For myself, Dean Doucette, for Mr. Jared Carr, that's going to wrap it up here from Martinsville, and we'll see you